In this video, we're converting and painting a Seeker squad. Hi all, and welcome to the cabin. Today it's time for part 9 of our series where we build a Night Lord's army for the Horus Heresy. Last time I painted a Night Raptor squad, and today it's time for the snipers of the army. Let's get to it. There's been a lot going on during the last couple of weeks since I published part 8. We've had teases from Games Workshop, a leaked starter box, and all the Heresy channels on YouTube getting aboard the hype train. It's pretty clear that we're getting a 3rd edition, and on Friday this week there will be a preview show dedicated to Horus Heresy, so I guess we'll know more details by then. Personally, I'm excited about the new box coming out and the chance to get more kits in plastic. I'm interested to learn more about how big the rules changes will be and if the current army books will be outdated. If so, I'll have to edit and update my army list before I've even had a chance to finish it and play a game. Well, hopefully they'll clarify things on Friday. Speaking of my army list, let's have a look. I've basically got a couple of characters left and a few vehicles, plus the Seeker squad that I'll tackle today. So maybe 2 or 3 more videos and I should be finished. Like I said last time, I'm also working on a complete painting guide for these Night Lords that puts all the painting segments together in one place. That video should be out very soon. Okay, enough babbling, let's get to the Seekers. There are no official models available for the Seeker squad. They're basically the best marksmen the Legion has to offer, tasked with identifying and eliminating the commanding officers of the enemy. I decided to use Mark 6 bodies and the Nemesis bolters that come with the Recon squad. To make them stand out from my tactical squads, I also used the Mark 4 helmets from the Recon squad, as well as Mark 4 shoulder pads from the older plastic kit. Since the bolters don't have hands sculpted on them like the other new weapons, I had to cut off some old-style left hands from the Mark IV kit as well. For the Sergeant, I chose a head from the first resin upgrade set to make him stand out. I also wanted this squad to display the trophies of their eliminated targets, so I grabbed a bunch of skulls from the plastic kit and some 0.3mm miniature chain to attach them to belts, shoulder pads, and backpack power units. Alright, while I'm working away at the conversions through the magic of time-lapse editing, let's check out some new lore I've written for this squad. Cue Age of Darkness narrative voice. As the new captain of the Night Lord 67th Company, the first campaign Ravos was tasked with was the compliance of Hieruth Primus. A hive world with limited military forces, Hieruth was expected to be a quick and uncomplicated matter for the 8th Legion. And so only a single company was initially dispatched. A coalition of the rulers of each hive welcomed their long-lost brothers and sisters with open arms, and held a celebratory feast for the Crusade forces. During the public ceremony where the rulers pledged their allegiance to the Imperium of Man, a toast was made in honor of Ravos and his delegation. Upon tasting the liquid, the Astartes immediately sensed something wrong with the spirits offered to them. While their transhuman resistance to poison left them mostly unaffected, the other Imperial ambassadors began convulsing and coughing blood. The Hieruth coalition appeared utterly surprised by the turn of events, but Ravos wasted no time in arresting, torturing, and eventually executing them all for this cowardly assassination attempt. Thus, the Night Lords began a bloody campaign of vengeance against the ruling classes and elements within the population deemed untrustworthy. Some whispered that the poison had been planted by Ravos himself to justify his actions, embittered by having been assigned such a bloodless and simple campaign. The truth is known only to a few within the upper echelons of the 67th, who were able to trace the poison to one of the young servants who had slipped away into the Underhive during the chaos. Ravos and his honor guard tracked down the boy, who by that time had rejoined the gang into which he had been born. He was named Sakhum, and told the Night Lords how the High Rulers had supposedly saved him from his wretched existence and honored him with the opportunity of servitude in the upper spires. He had been plotting his revenge and escape ever since, and saw the arrival of the Crusade forces as the perfect opportunity. When asked why he hadn't simply poisoned the rulers instead of the Imperials, Sakhum replied that he didn't wish them a quick death. He had recognized the eyes of a killer when he first saw Ravos, and had decided to use him. Instead of killing the boy, Ravos took him and other suitable aspirants from the gang and recruited them into the Legion. Even as an Astartes, Sakhum kept his contempt for authority and aristocracy, and became an expert at eliminating enemy leaders during the latter years of the Great Crusade. He never truly forgot his days as a servant, and would eventually create a network of spies within the mortal elements of the 67th. The Legion serfs called him Crown Butcher, and looked to him for protection in exchange for secrets. Some say that recruiting Sakhum was a mistake, and that Ravos should be wary of the assassin in his midst. Okay, here's one of the finished Seekers. Ready for some paint. Like I mentioned before, a complete painting guide is on the way. Meanwhile, I did decide to add one new element to the Seekers to make them stand out from the rest of the units: war paint on their helmets. I chose Corax White for this and started by applying it in thin vertical lines. This was to create an uneven top, which would simulate the Night Lords painting this on themselves. I then filled in the lower parts of the forehead until the paint reached full opacity, but left the jagged tops showing. After that, I moved down to the grille, which helps achieve a skull-like appearance when you leave the recesses without the war paint. Since this was a smaller squad, I also had the time to paint up and magnetize the Volkite Falconet for my Deradio Dreadnought. When the time came to base the squad, I also decided to bring out the Mark VI Tactical Squad and both Dreadnoughts, to be rebased with my new style. I'm glad I took a little extra time to do this, as I really prefer the grimdark City Rubble from Geek Gaming Scenics to my old style of painting the sand black. With the eye lenses repainted, satin varnish applied to the armor, and now rebased, I'm actually feeling much better about the first models of the army that I painted back in 2022. I didn't bother with the other tactical squad of old Mark III and Mark IV armor though, since I'm planning to replace these with the new Mark II and Mark III kits in the near future anyway. And with that, my Seeker squad is finished. It was nice to focus on a smaller unit after the big blob of Night Raptors last time, and I'm pretty happy with how these snipers turned out. I think they stand out from the other units in the army and represent what a Seeker squad could look like in the Night Lord's Legion. Here's the shot of Umbra Cadis with the new weapon configuration. I love how beefy the Volkites look in comparison to the autocannon. The old bases have really been bugging me for a few months, so it's a relief to have all the models looking consistent now. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on future content. A special thank you to Arnold over on Patreon. And if you want to go that extra mile and get some nice perks while helping us out, all our links are in the description below. We'll see you next time. Good luck with your miniatures.